welcome back. We're going to work on the goats some more. Thank you for being so patient. And if you haven't been following along, just go back to the goat series number 1 and you can start. So we should be about here. I think this is where we ended up. And I'm going to show you a technique to wrap the goat's hocks and pasterns that I kind of used on the head, but I use it all the time, so it's an important one. I'm going to spend some time on that. And we'll do the legs and we'll do the horns, and then we'll probably move on to the next video, which will be sculpting the face. Okay, I want to show you using a larger piece of wire and this piece of fabric. This is representing the wool. How I create a triangle shape on a straight piece of wire, which is really useful for the joints on the animals. Because where the two bones come together, as in like in our knee or ankle or an animal's hock, we want to build up a little bit of wool there. If you just wrap around and around, it slips and it doesn't hold its shape, and particularly on the hock and pasterns, it doesn't look the way that it should. So I'm just going to show you. I'm going to fold this, I'm going to exaggerate the angle and bend it to a 90. This fabric is your wool. And I start on one side of the corner and go around just to get it anchored. And then I come through this, the inside of the corner, and I go, whoops, little goat. I go to the other side. I never wrap directly around the point of the corner. So I've gone there, and now I'm going to go back to this side. And hopefully this little ribbon of fabric illustrates how it fills in here while keeping the corner shape there. Okay, so now that you can really see this, hopefully, we're going to do it on the goat's legs. Okay, so we're going to apply that technique to the goat's hock. I'm going to use a darker color, hopefully you can see in contrast to the white. We're going to exaggerate the angle to 90 degrees, works well. And I'm going to take a piece of roving. Doesn't take too much. I'm going to start on the upper side of this corner. I'm on the top of the leg. And then going right through the inside of the angle, I come around and wrap the lower. And I just keep doing that until the hock is the size that I want it to be. Then if you have extra, you can decide if you want to move down the leg or up the leg or just end it. I'm just going to wrap it down the leg because I want the whole bottom of this leg to be this color. And it makes a nice build-up while keeping the sort of correct or accurate shape of that joint. And I'm going to put them on my foam. I usually on the legs work from the inside out. It's just easier. It gets the leg right against the felting surface. And stab it a couple times to make sure everything's staying put. I don't spend a ton of time needling things that are going to get more layers. If I wrap them tightly, it doesn't need a lot of needle felting. So I'm going to do the other hock. I'm going to come back and show you a pastern, and then we'll work on the knees. Okay, so I realized that I need to wrap the feet before we do the pasterns. And there is a little technique to that. Again, when you get to the end of an armature, if you were just to try to go around perpendicular to the armature, it ends up kind of slipping off. It doesn't hold well. So it's a little tricky, but on the ends of your legs of your animals, this goes for anything that you make, a small amount of wool is good. I anchor it by pulling it tightly and get it going around. But then I create a kind of angle forward as I wrap, and then as I come back, I angle backwards. And if you imagine, you know, like a breast cancer awareness ribbon, the way that looks. If you were, so it looks something like that. If you were to pull each end tightly, it would secure around whatever it is that's in there. So that's what we're doing with the wool on the end of the armature. It's very subtle. I'm sure it doesn't look like much, but I am angling forwards, going around the very tip, and then angling back towards the leg. I have a little too much wool, so I'm just going to pull it off and then finish this fringe out around the foot and stab it. And here you got to needle a little bit more because this is the end of the foot and you want it to last for a long time. So take your time and make sure that the wool is really, really staying on there. So now that we have a foot, we can do this is the ankle. Well, anyway, this is on the animal. This is called the pastern, and we want to use the same technique as we did for the hock on the pastern. In terms of the size of the joint, it's maybe not quite as big, but I'm going to use a slightly darker color than I used on the hock, and that kind of creates a graded look to the coloring. And I'm going to exaggerate that angle, and then I'm going to do that technique on the corner like we did. This is so yeah, this is a lot of you know, little detail touches that can really make your animal more realistic and therefore maybe have kind of an appeal, a special appeal. Alright, I'll do the other 4 feet and pasterns. Okay, to finish the legs, we need to give him a knee. Goats have, and sheep have kind of cute, sort of knobby knees. This is the way that I do it. I think it's pretty efficient and it works pretty well. This is my medium grade gray that I used on the hock. And I start just above the knee and wrap around and wrap down a little bit to anchor it. And then I'm going to figure 8 around this area. Again, if I just went straight around, I don't have a lot of control over where I'm building up the bulk. It doesn't have as much definition. But if I angle up, and then when I get to this side, angle down, and then angle up, and then angle down, it builds the bulk of the wool right in the center, tapering the edges. Angle up, and then I'm going to angle down one more time, and then with my extra, I'm just going to go down this leg and meet up with my pastern color. And hopefully you can see how that gives you a joint there. Needle it a little bit, and then I will do the other legs. Okay, so to close out this video, I just wanted to mention I have had some students ask about cloven hooves. I do that on my larger animals like reindeer, stags, and cows. You can do it on the goats if you are interested in that, let me know, and I'll put in a video together about how to do that. I also, in that last bit, wrapped a little bit of extra of the core wool around the top of the leg to make it a little thicker than the bottom of the leg. All right, next we're going to work on the horns and start sculpting the head. Thanks.